in your table of contents, we are going to do a percent proportion foldable. So if you'll add that, and then on our next page, we're just going to title it percent proportion foldable. And we'll end up gluing it on this page. So when you do your foldable, you're going to trim around the edges. You're going to fold it in, and you can cut on the dotted lines. So we all know that percent means out of 100. So, and we've been talking about proportions. So we are going to look at some examples of how we can make a percent proportion or find a missing number when we're given a percent, or we need a part or a whole, or we have a part and a whole and we need to find a percent. So when you look at this all folded nice and neat, I want you to realize that there is a proportion line here and here, and then we have an equals. So when we make our percent proportion, we have a part over a whole, which is going to be a percent over 100. This one is always 100, okay? And 100% is our whole, so they're going to be next to each other, and our part is always going to be some percentage. So we're going to look at some examples of this today. It says a soccer team won 92% of 120 games. How many games is that? So they won 92%. So is this games our part or our whole? Well, we want to know what they won out of this many games. So this is our whole, and they're asking about the part. So I'm going to come over here to my proportion, and I'm going to put my 100 here before I do anything else, because that is always 100. We want our percents to line up, so I have 92%. It goes over my 100%. I have 120 games. I said that is my whole, and 100% is always my whole, so 120. And I am looking for the part. So in order to solve this, we can use any of our methods we've discussed. You could find unit rate. You could cross multiply to write our equation using our butterfly method. Scale factor is really not going to work here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to butterfly this. So I'm going to set up my equation. 120 times 92 is equal to 100 times something. And I can go ahead, I've got some space over here, so I'm going to write 120 times 92, 0, 4, 2, don't forget your placeholder, 0, 18, 10, 0, 4, 10, 1, and 1. So I have 11,040 on my left-hand side is equal to 100 times something. Well, how do I figure out what times 100 is 11,040? Well, I need to divide by 100. And again, I have space here. 100 into 11,040. 100 doesn't go into 1. It doesn't go into 11. It goes into 110 one time. Bring down the 4. 104 one time. Bring down the 0. It does not go into 40. So we're going to add a decimal. Goes into 400 4 times. So how many games did they win? They won 110.4. Now I realize it doesn't make sense to have 0.4 of a game, but in this problem that's what we have. So let's try another. Let's look at this one down here. At Phoenix, 321 students ride the bus to school. If this number right here, is 80%, how many are enrolled at Phoenix? So this says 80% is this number, and 80%, the percent is always our part, so we need to find our whole. So when we set this up, put put my 100 in the bottom right, like always. 80 always goes over the 100. The percent always goes over the 100. Part goes with the 80%. So 321, and I need to know how many people this is. So again, not a nice scale factor. So 321 times 100 is equal to 80 times something. 321 times 100 is 32,100. So what times 80 is 32,100? We're going to divide by 80. I can take my zeros off. 8 into 3,210. 8 does not go into 3. 8 goes into 32 4 times. Bring down the 1. It does not go into 1. Bring down the 0. So I have 8 goes into 10 one time. We're actually going to stop there. We could add our 0. We could keep going. But it doesn't make sense to have 0.25 students. So we could say there are 401 students enrolled, because that is the whole. Okay? So let's look at another. So this one has the percent sign, so it looks like we're probably going to find the percent. This is a lot like what we were doing when we were writing percents before in our FDP booklet. 12 out of 30, so this is my part and this is my whole. Students in the class are girls. To the nearest percent, what percent are girls? So 100 always, bottom right. I am looking for this percent. My part over my whole, just like when we were doing ratios. We're going to multiply. 12 times 100 is equal to 30 times some percent. Make sure you put that in parentheses so you know that's what you're looking for. 1200 is equal to 30 times some percentage. Divide by 30. Take off your zeros. 3 goes into 120. 40 times. So 40% are girls. All right, and one more, and then I'm going to let you try it when we get to class. Always 100. So we're just going to write part over whole equals percent over 100. Go ahead and glue this in your journal, and we'll talk about it when I get back.